Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much to so many people that commented and liked my last YouTube video. It actually did really well. Well, I think it did really well. I mean, 1,000 of you, nearly 1,000 of you watched my video, my first ever YouTube video. I was expecting what, like max 20 people, 20 views. So thank you so much for all of you that subscribed as well and watched the video. I am so excited to grow this community together. And yeah, so let's jump into this video. So this video is going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be a travel vlog or a vlog. It's going to be a sit down video, and I decided to do this as one of my first videos, as on my TikTok, which is my other social media platform that I will put down below. Please follow me. A lot of my community on that platform have asked me these questions. These are questions that I really need to sit down and talk about, and I feel like YouTube is a better place to bring those answers. This is everything you need to know about moving abroad to teach from the UK to the Middle East.
Okay, let's go.
So of course I can't really talk about other countries. I can talk about my experience in the Middle East and my positives and the negatives as well. I can't really talk about other countries when it comes to international teaching. I also know that there are different perspectives to working in the Middle East, and I completely understand that. I come across people that have worked in the Middle East and have not had a very happy experience. I completely get that, because situations are different. There are people that have had really positive experiences and have had nothing bad to say about working in the Middle East. But when it comes to me, I feel like I'm dipping into both. There are some negative things about working in the Middle East, but there are also a lot of attractive and positive things about working in the Middle East. So yeah, get yourself a tea, get yourself a little snack, and let's sit and talk about all of your questions. Before I start, I need to show you where I am because it's actually beautiful here. I'm staying in the most beautiful place in Paris right now. It's called Place de Toscane, and it's the most gorgeous little apartment, and I just love the view. I wake up to this view every morning and it's just stunning. Before I start, I thought I'd give a quick introduction. So my name is Sophia and I've been teaching now for 7 years. I have taught in the UK for around 4 or 5 years before moving to the Middle East. I moved to the Middle East a couple years ago. I started off in a leadership position and I've slowly been promoted to a higher leadership position as well. So my first question is, why did you move abroad to teach? Now this is a very interesting question. Me working in the UK, it wasn't giving anymore. I was finding it really stressful, waking up at 6 a.m, going home at 6 p.m, and just having those long hours with not really much to give. And one of the reasons why I started teaching isn't because of the money or the salary or the package, because let's face it, in the UK teachers aren't compensated appropriately. That is, again, my opinion. To be honest with you, it was getting really hard for me to enjoy teaching and I was losing the passion for it, and I knew that I had to do something. I had to change my environment. So if I wasn't going to move to the Middle East, I was definitely going to either change up my career or was probably going to move to another country. I decided to move. I decided to move because I wasn't enjoying my job in the UK anymore. I hear a lot about when you change your environment, especially in teaching, it can support with your passion for teaching. My most asked question on TikTok, and that would be, how did you find your job abroad? So it's actually super simple. I just went on tests and I looked up jobs online, and teaching abroad as well, test. Those were the two ones that I used, but I do know other agencies like Teach Abroad, Teach Away, I think it's called, Teaching in the Middle East. There's literally an agency called Teaching in the Middle East. And sometimes just Google, just looking up jobs on Google. I find that a lot of people in the Middle East found their jobs by emailing their expression of interest to a specific school. So if you look up schools that you want to work in that have good reviews on Google, you can actually email the HR of the school. Schools on their websites, they have like a careers portal that you can enter and you can see if they have jobs available. It's all about just researching online. It's actually very easy to find jobs, not just in teaching but also in other careers as well. Is it hard to move abroad alone? I didn't move alone, did move with my husband, but that being said, I still felt very lonely. I was really worried that when I would move to the Middle East, it would just be my husband and I, and that was not the case at all. I met loads of people in the Middle East. It's actually a very easy place to make friends, and everyone's in the same boat as you, so everyone's just trying to find their community. Alhamdulillah, found an amazing community. How much money do you make?
I feel so alive.
So I'm not going to talk about exactly how much I make because I'm not ready to spill that tea. But absolutely, I will give a range. And for someone with my experience, and if you're working in a primary school as well, because secondary school teachers do get more in the Middle East, it would range in terms of Kuwaiti dinar, it would range from around 750 to 1,200. So it does really depend on your experience and also how good you negotiate with the school that you want to work with. I will say that my best advice that I can give to anyone moving abroad is to negotiate your salary. I know in the UK it's not something that you would do. You wouldn't negotiate your salary. Everything is set in stone in your contract. But absolutely in the Middle East you can negotiate salary. Is what's the school system like compared to the UK? So I've kind of broken this down. I've written everything on my phone. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is curriculum. So in terms of the curriculum, it depends on what school you go to. So if you go to a British school, the curriculum is very similar to what we teach in the UK. I will say that any British school in the Middle East is not operating solely as like a British school, if that makes sense. They have to take into consideration the culture. They have to take in consideration parents. Whether we like it or not, working in a private school in the Middle East means you have to take into consideration how parents feel and parent partnership. So, like, for example, it is a big culture in the Middle East to have books and bookwork. In England, a lot of our teaching styles is based upon the national curriculum, taking objectives from the national curriculum and taking schemas and kind of having a happy balance, finding a happy balance between the two. So a lot of subject leaders in England would use subject knowledge and also schemes like, let's just say, cornerstones to map out a medium-term plan and a yearly plan. Whereas in the Middle East, they would really buy the schemes and stick to the schemes, and most schemes will come with like exercise books and workbooks, so these children will have like 6 workbooks per subject, and in England you wouldn't find that in a primary school. So that is something that most schools do in the Middle East, whether they're British or American. The students in the Middle East, how can I say this? It's a completely different world out there. You need to understand that if you're moving to the Middle East and you're expecting to work in the same environment as the UK, just forget about it, because that's not the case. You're in a different country with different upbringing, different culture, and most likely a different religion and different beliefs as well. That being said, it is extremely diverse in most schools because there's a lot of expats in the Middle East. So that is something to take into consideration as well. Majority of the students that I teach, their upbringing is well off. It's because I work in a private school, obviously. Most children, parents are very educated. So like doctors, lawyers, accountants. A lot of parents that we have of students, a lot of them are educated and have gone to university and have invested in education, which is why the students are so specific about grades that they get, how well they're doing at school. So that is something to take into consideration, absolutely. Now, lifestyle differences is huge. Different worlds. So in the UK, you know, a lot of it is when you go out to eat in restaurants, you would go maybe once or twice a week if you're doing really well for yourself. But in Kuwait, or in the Middle East in general, eating out is something you do every day. Now, again, this is my perspective. This is my situation, my experience. But restaurant culture out in the Middle East is huge. You would go out to eat and you would go out for a drink pretty much every night, because there's a lot of social things to do there. In terms of like expenses, I would say that the Middle East is more expensive in terms of groceries and clothing, absolutely. But then you're compensated for it with your salary and your package. So you don't pay rent, you don't pay tax. So a lot of it is you don't notice it because you're getting paid well. Yeah, I will do a separate video on my specific package that I received as a teacher, but I wanted to go through just like generic questions to begin with. Now, my last question is it worth it and would you do it again? Absolutely. The Middle East does give your life a second chance, and I'm so grateful for this decision that we decided to make. If I can give you a piece of advice for anyone who is thinking about moving abroad and you've come across this video, I would say prepare 3 things. Number 1, upskill your CV and make sure it is matching the job that you're applying to in the Middle East. Number 2, I would say save some money. You need to save some money when you go to the Middle East, just so you have a comfortable blanket before it does happen, and you know that you can always come back to the UK. Research your schools. Research the schools or the employer that you want to work for before you move forward with the job, and talk to people that have worked in the job as well. LinkedIn is the perfect place for this. You can actually speak to the people that have actually worked in the job that you're trying to get into. That is the majority of the questions I received. I will probably do more videos depending on how this video does. Please do let me know in the comments if you want more videos like this. Subscribe if you want more teacher lifestyle content from me, and absolutely, I am more than happy to make any videos that you would like to see, so please do leave them in the comments. Those are the main questions that I received when it comes to moving abroad and talking about teaching internationally. Thanks so much for watching this video. Please do subscribe, leave a like and comment below what you liked about this video. Bye!